oldest grad, fortunately older than I am, graduated a year before I entered the Academy. Please welcome Louis Gross.
Thank you. It's rather difficult to follow General MacArthur as the oldest grad. We'll try. I was surprised and honored when I received an email a day and a half ago from Laurel advising that I had won the lottery. And here I am. As I think about the time that has passed, and I look at the perspective, I realize that it's 6 decades since I entered as a plebe. And I've been met by an old grad of some 6 decades prior to 1950. He would have been from 1890. And he might have had a few questions. He would want to know where are all the horses. Equestrian training stopped in the class of 49. He also might have asked, where did all these cadets come from? His entering class had 81. My class had 721. The class of 2014 is probably going to have 1,400. So we are moving on, and things are changing. The academics, when I was a cadet, and that's a common refrain when I was a cadet, we had a grade in every subject every day. And monthly, they would rearrange us in sections so that the top students were the first section, the bottom students were the bottom section. And the top sections would be discussing Einstein's theory, and the bottom sections would be playing mumbly peg. But we were all engineers. There were no choices. You came in. I had an acquaintance who had a master's degree from Carnegie Mellon. He started as a plebe. He graduated, and not at the top of his class either. And it was a very different measuring means that we had in those days. If you flunked a subject, you were turned back a year, a whole year for one subject. Today, everybody can take any number of majors. You can be prepared to be a lawyer, or a doctor, or a political analyst, or an economist. You can have the full panoply of courses that are available at any university, and in fact Forbes thinks we're #1. There are other changes that have occurred beside academics. Religion, we had compulsory chapel every Sunday morning. Today it's completely voluntary. And I am told that there's a lot more praying and less sleeping using this system. There are other major changes, but in the turmoil of time, the more things change, the more they remain the same. As you've heard before, our mission remains the same: to develop leaders of character. The main precepts of cadet behavior are the same. Duty, honor, country is still our motto, and the honor code is the cadet does not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. The more things change, the more they remain the same. the core values of West Point are still there, and in spite of the changes, the cadets today are today's soldiers. They move with the times. They are recruited from the great American public. And I might say they are probably 1/10 of 100% from the tippy top. And they will continue to develop the academy and serve the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. I will enlighten a little bit on one point you made, and that was with regard to the fact that we all were required to attend chapel services. Now, we marched to chapel in those days. We marched to everything in those days. But the interesting part of it was the Catholics went to chapel before the Protestants. So the Catholics would march off to chapel, and they would return just as the Protestants were marching out. And lo and behold, if you were careful, you could see the rear rank of the Protestants do a about-face in marching and join the Catholics coming back into the barracks. I was never guilty of that, but I was tempted. Our youngest grad, who will tell us how things really are, from the class of 2006, whose father was a firefighter killed in 9/11. Please welcome Patrick Dowdett.
Good evening. I found out that I was going to be able to twist one of the colonel's arms and get home on leave just for St. Patrick's Day, and then I found out I won the lottery as well, so I had to kind of put something together here. But, you know, I just got back from a 4-week field problem where we were in Colorado, where we were out there for some training preparing to go to Afghanistan. And after a few cold nights and no showers, everyone kind of gets a little bit closer, a little more comfortable with each other. I started talking to some of my soldiers about what brought them into the Army. And it's a big variance of what you get as far as why guys are in the Army now, especially joining, knowing that they're going to go overseas. Some of them are just patriots, some of them, they want a paycheck or some benefits for their family. But everyone has to join together for the common fight that we're all doing, and they're all doing that every day, all across the country. So my reasons were a little bit different. I tried to get into West Point out of high school, and I didn't get in. I didn't get accepted the first time. Then after 9/11, I reapplied with a new reasoning to myself of why I wanted to be there, and luckily I got in. And I figured, I found that West Point, I didn't appreciate it at the time. It's always one of those things. It's a good place to be from, not always a good place to be. But over time, I did realize that the importance of what I was doing and how it was going to help me in the future, and it did. It actually molded the leadership side of who I was. I felt like I grew up a lot. And after 9/11, I grew up and I felt more mature. But I guess West Point helped with the leadership side of things and how to handle these high-stress situations that you might face. And I can say that it definitely helped and proved its worth during my deployment to Iraq from March 2008 to March 2009, and now in preparing to go to Afghanistan in July. So for all that West Point, all the grief that it gives you while you're there is an end state that proves its worth, and it's worth the time and the effort that you might not realize it when you're a cadet, but when you become that young lieutenant or captain, it proves to help you out a lot. So I'm thankful for West Point, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to go there, and thankful to be here tonight on a little bit of leave. And thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.